All right, this is part 2 of the turkey fan mount. Just to kind of recap from where we left off in the last video, use a Jake decoy to kind of go over the process again to lead us up to where we are now. So what we did is we had the bird, laid it out, got it positioned, and instead of coming down into here, where that tail fan connects, like a lot of people do, I do like to come up about 4 or 5 inches further. That way I've got more material, feathers that I can add to it, because I do like having multiple layers of feathers within tail fan mounts. So basically, first step that we did was come up 4 or 5 inches, and we made a cut straight across the bird. And then from here, we started separating that skin from the meat, keeping that all the way back into here, kind of that joint area where the quills kind of connect into the body of the turkey. Basically from there, we cut that straight across, wrap that up, package it up, put it on ice, and traveled 15 hours all the way back to home. So now we are home, so it is time to get into the next step of the process. So from here, what we need to do is clean this out. See, we've got all this meat into here. We want to remove that. And then also down into here is a bone that we do want to remove. So first things first, grab the Spur by Gamble Knives. Like I said, I cannot give this knife enough credit for how easy it makes this. This knife is incredibly sharp and specifically designed to handle all of these tasks. So, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to start separating the skin from the meat on this portion of the tail. And right here is the backside of the fan. So I'm not overly worried about going through the skin on this side. Not that big of a deal. That is not the side that we're going to be showing off. This bird was a younger bird. He's just starting to get into being a full fan. But this one we are going to put into our bag of goodies for our decoys. You could certainly use full fans for decoys. I really like using Jake fans, just because if you got some birds that are a little bit more timid, definitely don't want to scare them off with the biggest, baddest tom that's in the area. So I will use Jake decoys. Most toms will be comfortable approaching Jakes without hesitation. So but with this knife, I'm just taking the tip and just coming in here nice and easy. Let that blade do the work itself. layers on both sides. So I am going to bring this back. Make sure y'all can see this. Bring this back. Okay. Now we've got that skin all pulled back so you can see all that meat. I am just going to come into here and start shearing that down. Now we're just getting the fatty portions right above the quills. You can actually feel those quills coming down into there. And right into here is that bone that we are going to be removing. So, like I said, this knife is incredibly sharp. I'm hardly doing any pressure, I'm just taking it into layers. And we get into here, there is that bone. So one of the easiest things that I've found, you can use hand tree shears, actually like a little wire cutter, super easy, small, gets right in there. Just do a clip. Down to the end, make sure that's cut through. Perfect. Let's go ahead and cut the rest off. Now that, still got a little bit right there. So like I said, just take it, let the knife do the work. Just take that off into little layers. Now, we've got that all pretty well cleaned out. Like I said, I do want to get as much of the meat off as possible, helping that drying process. Don't really need, nor do I want, any of this in there. Okay. Now, we took that bone out so that way this will lay down as flat as possible. When you, depending upon how you put it up onto the wall, if you buy a mount from a mount kit, plaque kit from local sporting goods store, what have you, that will help it lay flat within that. As I mentioned, a lot of people will cut back a lot further on the fan than I do. They'll basically just have 2 layers of feathers and call that good. I really like to leave a little additional layer of feathering so you can get all that coloration into there. I don't know. That's just some of my favorite stuff to do, is to leave some of that. So for this mount, I actually like that, have that come down a little bit more. The placard itself will cover through into here. So that will take care of a lot of this down feather. But once we find the layering that we want, we'll just come on into here and make that cut. Down and through. Just bring it straight across. Do be careful. Last thing you want to do is slice your hand open. All right, that's our access. Dependent, I might save these for tying some flies. Choice is up to you, if you fly fish or not. But this is all cleaned out, and we are ready for the final step. Let's take it down and pin it to a piece of plywood. I got project board, but we will get this all pinned out and fill all of this area into here with borax. So here's our final step in the process of getting this turkey fan all dried out and ready to go. So as you can see, got the project board. One thing I like to do is take a square Sharpie marker, draw a straight line, so that way we can get this tail fan laid out flat. As you can see, we've got full cape mounts that are drying as well. So if you haven't taken a look at it or watched that video yet, definitely do so. Yeah, probably one of my favorite ways to display a turkey that I've gotten throughout the season. So first things first, what we're going to do is find where we're going to be positioning this. So just because on the front side, we do have to get that all completely dried out there, but we also have the back side of this tail fan. So what I'm going to do is take the borax. Like I said in the previous video, you can find this at any local grocery store. I think this box costs just under $8. So super inexpensive. What I'm going to do is place some down here just so we can get that back side of the fan, start that drying process there. One thing, if it has not fully dried, once the front is dried, we can always rotate this around and do the back side as well. So now we've got our fan placed on the borax for the back side. We've got it sitting on top of this line. What I'll do next is take some roofing nails. I like to use these. I've got the tabs. It's easy to see where you've got all of these positioned. But what I'm going to do is place one directly in the center at the bottom of the fan. Next, I am going to go ahead and take this straight down. That's why I like to draw that line. I can see when that is perfectly straight across. So next, I'll fan these out, get the feathers into position, pin my next one, and manipulate those feathers around a little bit just so you've got a nice full looking fan. Get those positioned. You can always reposition those later on as well, but I like to get as much of this positioned out as possible. So I will place one here into the center. Don't worry about moving those feathers around. They will go back into place. And anywhere it needs a little assistance, go ahead and pull down and just put it on the opposite side of the coil. So we've got the fan all positioned as we want. Take the borax and simply pour that onto all the areas where skin, any additional meat is left over, or fat content. So place that out, and we're basically done. Now we just have to wait anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. I like to give it 4 weeks so that way it has plenty of dry time. And yeah, once that's done, I'll basically just take a shop vac, come on in, and vacuum off as much of that borax as possible. Get that all shaken out, make sure there's none in there, and you're ready to mount it on any plaque or just nail it up onto the wall or use for a turkey decoy. So thanks for joining us. I hope you guys learned easy, inexpensive way on how to create your own turkey fan mount.